Okay, I wanted to start with Dumb Money, which is a movie on Netflix currently. It was released in 2023, and it is about the short squeeze of the stock. I mean, I'm not a stock person.
Right.
I learned more watching this movie, but it's the short squeeze involving GameStop and a YouTuber and Reddit group buying up the stock and
this
causing
is scripted?
Yes.
Oh,
yes,
because
yes.
there is a documentary, and I watched the documentary.
Oh, no, I didn't even know there was
okay.
a documentary.
Okay.
Okay. Netflix really, it knows me very well. And so when it offers things, I think this might be new. And so it was just across the dash.
It offering a movie is not the right thing for you.
Oh, Lord.
I mean, that's true. I do watch a lot of series and limited series versus movies. But movies I do like to watch. And this one, when I saw it pop up, I was like, ooh, I meant to watch that. So now I'm going to. Yeah, so Dumb Money. I knew about it a little bit because I kind of remember it happening. It was during 2021, so it was like full pandemic, which is weird because in the movie there's like obvious like pandemic stuff happening. And basically a short squeeze, I hope I'm getting this right, is when what
Why are you even delving into this? Who cares?
It's
important-
manipulation of the market.
Right. I mean, not that all of it isn't
I mean,
manipulation of the
my
market.
husband's a financial advisor, so I know some of it. So it's a short, and it's basically you continue. You're
Okay,
not totally
so-
off track, but like John is saying, I don't think we need to get it that accurate.
Well, I like
you know.
the idea of like I might have learned something. So
Right,
can I
okay.
say what it is?
Sure.
If you did, sure.
Okay, well, we'll find out in a minute. All right, so one of the actors in it, okay, you know what? Back up. So the main actor is Paul Dano, and he is playing this YouTuber. He also has a day job in banking or finance, but he's really just interested in posting his own ideas about
Opinions.
Yes,
Yeah.
about investing. He does live streams on YouTube and he has quite a following. He basically figures out that GameStop is being shorted by this one what?
It just was so insane.
I know.
I mean, the documentary, you meet the real characters, and it's just unbelievable.
They did show a little bit of the real people at the end, which I love when they do that in movies where it's like it's based on real people and then they show and you're like, yeah, you kind of nailed it. Good job. So anyway, he realizes that GameStop is being shorted by this hedge fund, and the hedge fund manager is played by Seth Rogen, and he thinks that GameStop is going to collapse because they're not doing very well. I know.
It should have. That's what's so crazy.
Correct. But this YouTuber, played by Paul Dano, his name is Keith Gill, he basically was like, no, I think they have enough product and market that people should be investing in them. Him investing in it and then getting other people to invest in it is the short squeeze.
Right.
Right? Oh,
It's-
my gosh.
It's squeezing the people who were shorting
God.
it.
Thank
and
God I got it.
Screwing them over for their bad bet.
Well, he was
Or
a speculator.
making it a bad bet.
Yeah, and he speculated that this stock should be worth more than it was.
Right.
And then by manipulating a group of listeners into investing,
Well, I think manipulating is too strong. I think
advised,
Yeah.
speculated,
or
opinionated.
Just, he just gave his opinion and they embraced it and embraced him, and also were kind of like anti-Wall Street, like how dare Wall Street try and like force this business, or like take advantage of this
Right.
business not doing great. And they realized they could totally screw over this hedge fund manager, because if you are shorting a stock and it doesn't work out, you could lose infinite amounts of money. It could just like spiral and go down and down and down and down, which is in fact what happened.
Yeah, I
I
remember.
think that's right.
Yeah.
Isn't that right? That's right.
Yeah.
You probably, Ed, because you're kind of a gamer or was. Were you a customer of GameStop?
Yeah, I have bought and sold things from GameStop, and it's the kind of business that doesn't look like it should keep running on the surface, like, a mom and pop little restaurant. And it turns out, yeah, that's because we're not trying to make massive quantities of profit. We're trying to stay open. Their model was, this guy's coming in with $20 and he's going to leave with $0.
Yeah.
I actually was
Like,
shocked.
they're really aiming for a low market.
I was actually shocked that GameStop was a stock you could buy. I mean, it just
that it was
didn't-
a public company?
It was a traded public company. It just didn't seem, quite honestly, because in this world of buying online, that brick and mortar going in seemed to be like, how is this store in particular going to survive?
Well, yeah. I think
When
that was
the model with gamers, in essence, they don't really like to leave their house, their computer. I mean, somewhat of a broad, profiling them broadly. But it's like, ideally, you can have the game just dropped on your front doorstep versus having to go to a mall or to a shopping center.
Well, not even that. The main thing that the speculation was about GameStop collapsing was the switch to buying games online and not even ever having to go anywhere or get it delivered or nothing. I mean, so there was definitely like, he thought for sure, the Seth Rogen character, that GameStop was going to not exist because there was no need to go to a store anymore.
Well, also, it makes total sense if you look at every other brick and mortar go and rent stuff and then return stuff and continue that cycle forever, like Blockbuster or Hollywood Video or any of the other ones that rented video games and movies. They're all gone. But the difference is, nobody rents one movie for 3 months and then goes and sells that movie back for half price and buys another version of that with a different cast. That's what gaming is. Gaming continues to play the same thing until they're burnt out on it. Then they go change it up. They return it and let somebody else play that. So it'd be like if there were a Blockbuster with only 100 videos to rent and you had to keep going and seeing if the one that you wanted was there. It was not. I'll come back next week. It was a different business model than what they were looking at, which was all these stores collapsing. This is just another brick and mortar sales store. Of course it's going to collapse like Blockbuster and Hollywood Video. Let's short it because we missed out on those other ones. Unfortunately, gamers and video renters are not the same thing.
Well, I wonder if it was even, regardless of whether or not it was organically going to survive, it feels like we're saying that this guy investing in GameStop really saved it. The fact that everyone got behind it and wanted to kind of stick it to Wall Street, that's really what happened.
Really, it's just Robinhood, which is this trading app that brought in all of these gamers at under $100. You could start trading. And then what became the pitch to these guys over YouTube in the gaming community was, not only are they going to take this gaming community away from you, the shop that you go to, the place that you know, but you're not going to be able to get the stuff from there anymore. So you better put the next $40 into stock instead of a game and then hold it so that that stays open. It's basically, he weaponized the entire customer base, which that's not manipulating the market. That is the market. Those are the people that want that to stay open. They had every right. It's just that, it wasn't actually on the up and up, the whole how cheap Robinhood was and what they were using with it and what their market share and place was. So they ended up actually making it really bad in the end, because since they had to negotiate their business and it wasn't about just that one customer base, going for the short sell on that one GameStop, it's like Robinhood had every other customer and every other stock that they were dealing with. So they had to deal with the SEC.
SEC.
Yeah, Securities and Exchange Commission. And then that actually put a halt on all of the trading, because it was very obvious they only trade on this one stock, and that's all they're doing is buying more of this stock, and they're not really trading on this like traders we want them to be. So we're stopping them.
The whole thing was really interesting, just the behind the scenes of everything that was going on. I like the way the movie showed different investors. One played by America Ferrera. She was amazing. Mm-hmm. There was a couple good stories.
You're like, sell.
I know.
I mean, people are like, they're sitting in their very suburban, lower middle class home, possibly, maybe never had a break or an opportunity like this in their lives, and they're like, I'm so excited. I'm checking my stock, and it's at 400,000 or it's at 1.2 million. You're like, sell, because then it went down to basically, spoiler alert, pennies on the dollar. So, there is something about sell high.
Yeah. I think what was interesting is for some of them, it wasn't about making that money.
Wait a minute. Stop. Because I get that, but to have thought if I had cashed out, I could have hundreds of thousands, not millions in my account. You can say that after the fact, it wasn't really about the money. But you could have had the money, and it's could have changed your life, versus exactly what Ed was saying. It's not like you're really playing the stock market. You're watching one stock. So you invested, some of them invested everything they had. Some people invested 500, but it's the people that I took my life savings of 20 grand and it accumulated up to hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Sure.
Get out. Get out. And they didn't. You're like, oh.
My only real miss for that entire plot line of yes, the small sellers needed to get out early and get their debt paid off, They were just trying to pay off their college loans. Absolutely no. Don't pay that off. That's not the one you pay off. That's the lowest interest loan you're going to have in your life. These kids, they didn't know what they were doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, short version is really interesting movie. I really enjoyed it. I thought they did a great job. It was very entertaining and informative, both about the stock market and how things work and this particular situation. So, yeah, dumb money. Not a dumb movie. Real good. I really liked it.
I do want to mention the director, Craig Gillespie. He also directed Pam and Tommy, which I do believe we've reviewed.
Oh,
And
that's interesting. Wait, just on that, Sebastian Stan, he had a small part of it.
He was in charge of Robin Hood in Dumb Money, so it makes sense that there's a little connection there. He also directed Cruella and I, Tonya. So
Wow.
I figured those might be a wide variety of things that maybe give you an idea of who this director is and maybe why you might enjoy this movie if you don't want to watch a movie about finance stuff.
Yeah, it has
gamers.
It has a good tone to
caliber.
it. It's well done. It has a good tone to it. Also, I want to shout out that Shailene Woodley plays the wife of the main character. She's very good. And then also Pete Davidson plays his real goofy brother, which is great. So,
And he went into hiding. No one knows where he is, right, Gil?
yeah, he does not have the YouTube channel anymore or does not post on YouTube anymore.
I think he cashed out and got some money out of the situation.
I think he sold half and he left the rest in. Is what it's, at the end when they do the little like blurbs about who's doing what. But yeah, I just want to mention that the other billionaire characters, so the main one is Seth Rogen, who is great. He's really going through the ringer and he does a good job of like, wow, this is a roller coaster of badness that he's dealing with. But then also two other billionaires who are real fun, Vincent D'Onofrio and then Nick Offerman, and they are great.
Wow, they're fantastic actors. Yeah.
Playing real kind of jerky billionaires, which is kind of fun.
Especially since they're getting the short end of the stick in this movie.
Yeah, I mean, this is
Bring it all back
They get
around.
squeezed.
this is all power to the small investor.
And which stinks about this is that lessons were learned by Wall Street to prevent this happening again.
Oh, yeah. Unfortunately,
So that is sort of depressing because, the Wall Street game sometimes can be very exclusive. They learned a big old lesson of like, as Ed said, like weaponizing a large group of people can manipulate or change a stock's projections in such a way that these guys in high offices thought they had it all figured out.
Yeah.
And then it gets taken away from them.
Almost like everyone that shorted that company should have invested in GameStop and helped prop it up better instead. And maybe those billionaires got what they needed out of that lesson. Which is help stores. Don't take things down. Oh, no.
Well, yeah, that's such a mean thing to short a stock, too. It's so just like, I think you're going to fail. It's like, oh, you're so rude. Oh, God.
And depending on your platform, if you say it loud enough, people listen. And that's why your lead character on his YouTube channel was able to combat it. Like, well, wait a minute.
Yeah.
We can save GameStop. Yeah.